Hi, this is Carolyn, and this is day 2 of So You Want to Write a Novel, a full, complete novel. Now, yesterday on day 1, hopefully you have 5 pages, 3 pages, 1 pages, whatever, but hopefully the pacing of this is 5 pages, and that should have been of your character's old life. It should have included the most important first page that introduces your character. It may have also, you may have written 5 pages of a prologue, that's okay. Just kind of roll with it. Come back to this once you start your novel on day 2 of your true story. The prologue you'll just write almost like a short story, independent in time and space from these modules. So this is day 2 of writing in your actual novel. Again, if you're writing prologue, this is not about the prologue, this is about the novel. So 5 pages. Yesterday you introduced the old life. You may have introduced the sidekick, you may have introduced the love interest, the magician, although many times you don't. The old life, that he doesn't have those things. He is unlucky in love. He does not have a love interest. He does not have a sidekick. He doesn't have someone who's awesome. He may be a loner. Luke, Neo, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Kindergarten Cop do not have sidekicks. They do not have love interests. They do not have magicians with them when they start because their life kind of sucks. And those other characters and making friends and having a team being built around them is a characteristic of their new life, not their old life. Let's talk a little bit more about character today. Plotting wise, you should be thinking about in a few days you're going to introduce the opportunity. So this vignette though of the old life is self-contained, and many times it has a mini mission, it has a mini arc all of its own where things happen. The hero believes that he knows what he's doing. Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator thinks he's on some kind of CIA mission to go extract someone, and then of course crashes and into this Predator situation. But he honest to God believes that he's going to go get a CIA operative. And I love that movie for just how dedicated and committed it is to that idea. That movie easily could have been a movie about a CIA operative being extracted from the jungle, and I would have believed it. And the fact that it was the beginning of Predator was pretty amazing. Now, sometimes if you're writing true science fiction or true fantasy, you just enter that world. In my world of international thrillers and sometimes supernatural paranormal things, is we actually ease into it. We give as much real world as we can and then ease into the kind of crazy. That is how I work and usually do things. And I do a lot of like Crichton-esque writing, and so I try and be as realistic as possible. Let's look at Jurassic Park, the beginning with Sam Neill, where he's out on a dig. That is his old life, right? We're seeing him at a dig. We're seeing the community he has. We're seeing his routine. Yes, he has a love interest. Well, at least in the movie. In the book, he didn't. They were not love interests, but he had a sidekick. At least she was a sidekick. Until, right, Richard Attenborough comes in and brings the opportunity to come to Jurassic Park. So we're looking at the old life and the character, because we like Sam Neill. We liked him, right? He was a little bit crotchety. He was kind of mean to the kid, and usually we like them nice to the kid, but he was funny about it, and so we kind of liked him. Plus, Laura Dern's character liked him and respected him. Certainly everybody on the dig respected him, and Richard Attenborough respected him when he got there. So that is a huge characteristic that everyone likes him, so we kind of liked him. Later, we're going to get into the 7 characteristics that make a character more relatable, but for right now, just make sure that the character is clear. That yesterday you started with your character. Today you're going to write another 5 pages. That will be a total of 10 pages, which is going to be half of the old life. Make sure that the character is consistent. Don't have him bouncing around. He's happy, he's giddy, he's depressed. You can't do that. You need to be building on who he is. If he is strong and brave, then have him be strong and brave. He can be vulnerable, but he can't be a sissy. He can't be a scaredy cat. He can't all of a sudden not want to fight because he's scared. That doesn't make sense if you've had him kicking butt until this moment, unless you want him stopped in his tracks because he's afraid of clowns or something, and that's part of his character. That's fine. But just remember to be consistent. So whatever you wrote yesterday, you don't want to repeat it, but we do want to be consistent and reinforce whatever quality it is about the character that you wanted to show yesterday and a continuation. So that is what we're doing today. Continue the old life. Make sure that this is interesting. Remember, we don't just write things that happen. Interesting things need to happen. Drama is normal life with the boring parts cut out. I know the old adage, oh, well, these characters never go to the bathroom. No, because going to the bathroom is boring. You should never mention the toilet unless something interesting is going to happen or happened in the toilet. There's a dead body in there, right? This is life on steroids. The vast majority of genre writing, which is probably the vast majority of you, mystery, sci-fi, fantasy, thrillers, romance, paranormal romance, etc. We're talking about turbocharged. If you want to write literary, certainly story structure and everything is exactly the same. It's just that you are going to write less plot and more about character. And, it needs to be interesting to you. You need to have emotional bombs. You need to have emotional movement, but your physical movement and kind of activity level may be low. I mean, you may have an action-y literary novel. I don't know if that exists, but that is completely up to you. We're thinking about being consistent with our character. What is the single word we would use to describe your character? Brave. Then he better be brave than these 5, unless there's a very specific reason he's not being brave, which is fine if you know what you're doing. If you're he's brave on one page and not brave on the next, that's going to be very confusing. Because remember, we're still only 10 pages into the book, and the reader's still looking to connect, is still looking for guidance from you about how they should feel about the character and what is the major flaw. Why does this hero need your story? Why is the opportunity about to come down the pike in 10 to 15 pages? What needs to change in his life? That should be on the page today. That's what you're thinking about today. Continuing who he is, making sure we have a clear vision of our hero, but also showing why his life sucks right now and why it needs to change, and maybe why he doesn't want it to change. Is he in a bad relationship? Are his kids a nightmare? Is his world ending? Is he in a dead-end job? I mean, just anything you think of. But again, remember, you have to make it interesting. These things can't just be things. They have to be interesting, and you shouldn't be telling me about them. You should be showing me about them. So when I say his life sucks, don't say on the page his life sucks. We just need to see it. Like, we didn't need to know his life sucked. He doesn't say his life sucks. It just sucked. He fell asleep at his computer. His apartment's small and a mess. We get it. So now, Luke is a little bit more vocal about how much he doesn't like it, but that's part of his character, right? He's kind of vocal about his emotions. That's just his Luke, and that's fantastic. If your character wants to be more vocal about how much he hates his life, then do that. Commit to that. Don't tell me, though, show me. So even though he may be saying that in dialogue, be sure to back that up with plenty of evidence to that fact, and not just rely on your dialogue to make us understand that his life sucks. So today, you're writing pages 5 to 10, which are still part of the old life, and you are reinforcing who this character is so that the reader can connect, and you are showing me why his life sucks and why the opportunity is going to be so important in just a few pages. All right, that was day 2. So incredibly proud of you. Again, if you're struggling, internal critic module, fear module, affirmations. If you're not struggling, congratulations. Again, I don't want you thinking too much, though. I want you writing on the page organically, writing what you want, and then we're going to go back and edit this puppy. So feel safe that you can write whatever you want. You can write poorly because we can always fix it. I just can't fix a blank page. All right, that was day 2. We will be moving on to day 3 in the next module.